name is Brett Butler. I'm an action figure and doll photographer. I'm often asked, why do I only focus on dolls and action figures? Well, I'm a toy collector, and I've been collecting toys since I was a child. So I have a huge toy collection, and I'm also a writer, so I like to write. And I started to put my toys and figures into stories, and I started taking pictures and writing scripts. So that's how I started, just taking pictures of toys and action figures. So I'm often asked, how did I get started building my business of Brett Butler Photography, Brett Butler Productions? Well, it was all by accident. You see, I was selling toys at the flea market because I was a toy collector, and anything excess I would sell off, and comic books as well. And one day I decided, you know what, let me print some of these 5x7 prints and put them in a little frame and see if anybody buys them. And yep, everybody bought them. And from there I did the Wilton Manors Art Walk, and I started doing that monthly. And I started with one table on a street corner, and then I started having a tent with like 4 tables and pictures hanging, because I was selling and people really liked the stuff. I also got involved with the Fats Art Village, and then I started to do some competitions, and from there I joined some organizations, and I started doing more shows. And I just decided that the more stuff I get out there, the more people see me. Hopefully I can get discovered and build a following of people that like my art. So now I've been asked, how did I get picked for this upcoming Barbie show in Wilton Manors, Florida? Well, it all started with the Wilton Manors Art Walk. I started, like I said earlier, I sold with one table, and I moved into a tent. And a lot of people liked my stuff and took my information. And from there, I got contacted by the gallery if I was interested in participating in this big event for Barbie's 60th birthday. And sure enough, I am, and I've been working on that the last couple of months. So at the Barbie show, I'm also doing a workshop, and then in June, I may be doing another workshop at another gallery. So this is also great for my brand. That's it.
My name is Constance Rupinder. I'm a resident of Wilton Manors, Florida since 1987, and I've been collecting Barbies as an adult since 1986.
And how did you decide what artists you were going to use?
Well, the 2 artists that approached me were Brett Butler and Roger Helt.
And what do you hope the outcome of this show will be?
I hope this will bring people together to realize how important it is that even as grown-ups we continue to play. If you've ever observed a child at play, they are totally in the moment. And I've seen grown-ups, men and women, who collect Barbies and other types of fashion dolls. And when they're playing with their dolls, they are totally in the moment.
So, I mentioned before that I did the Art Walk of Wilton Manors. Well, this is a copy of the first picture I ever sold at the Art Walk. And I've sold this print many times at the Art Walk. It's called Making Porn. It's 2 Ken dolls. I know it's pretty hard because I photoshopped it. And it's one of my pretty popular pieces of art. What's the hardest thing about filming dolls and action figures? Well, first, getting them to stand. There's lots of tricks to doing that. The second part is even getting them to sit without falling out of the chair, or sit up in a bed, or sit up in a car, or get the depth of field that you need. The most hardest though that I find is when it's in the box. Unboxing is one of the hardest things to do. They pack these action figures and dolls so tightly in a box, it can take up to 20 minutes sometimes just to figure it out, to get the figure out without damaging it. So there's a lot of different things that make it very difficult. It's just not putting a doll on in front of a camera and just letting it stand. Usually it falls 5 to 10 times before you can get the shot you want. You also can't prop it up right against the scenery, because then what happens is it doesn't give the dimension or the depth of field that you need. So people often ask, how do I come across all my dolls and action figures to do photography with? Well, mostly flea markets, thrift stores, sometimes eBay, and people have been donating now lately to me. And then I'm also asked, how many of these do I have? Thousands upon thousands. I have trunks full of dolls, action figures, cabinets full of dolls and action figures, and I usually can pull whatever somebody wants. Luckily, I have gotten some custom work where people request certain pictures from me, and I have the dolls and action figures they want. So I'm able to take pictures for them for what their specific needs are. So what's the next show I'm preparing for? Well, of course, it's the Big Barbie Show, which is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm doing 8 pieces for that show, and it's also going to be a pop-up store. So for the first time, I'm going to do some T-shirts, postcards, and different specialty items that I haven't done in the past. I've been working on this show for almost over a year now, and I'm very excited to see the outcome. I have other upcoming projects. I have another art of toy, and also I started doing workshops. So now people are asking me to do workshops, and I show them the technique on how I take pictures of dolls, how I film dolls, the lighting, the technique, the settings, and how you can do it just with household items like flashlights or your own house, that you don't need fancy equipment to do it. It can be a fun activity. So if I've been asked what are my goals for 2019, well, I hope to build my business, sell more art, get a solo show at a gallery would be one of my big goals for 2019. Be involved in more projects that have to do with toys and action figures, and promote my stuff, hopefully, and get out there.
Yeah, she's really cool.